Hey guys, so it's time for another video, and this time we have a request. So Jackson wanted us to make cookies. He did not specify what kind of cookies to make, so I picked my favorite kind, which is chocolate chip. And so I found a recipe that I had heard was really good, and the recipe was the original Toll House recipe. Original Toll House chocolate chip cookie. Well, it's a great recipe, except I didn't have Nestle Toll House chips. All I had were Food Lion chocolate chips, and so I decided to use those. So the first part of the recipe says to use all-purpose flour, baking soda, and salt. And so I figured out, through the help of my wonderful husband, who knows a lot more about cooking than I do, that you can use self-rising flour in the place of it. So that's what we did first. So next we melted our butter in the microwave, and it called for a cup of butter. I thought that was a lot of butter, 2 whole sticks, and we were getting down to the wire with our necessities. And well, I shouldn't say necessities because butter's not really a necessity, I guess. But when you're baking a lot and you're trying to make a lot of different foods, butter is kind of a necessity.
Butter's not really a necessity, I guess.
So I was down to my last 2 sticks of butter, and so I did choose to use them for these cookies. So next it called for 3/4 cup of brown sugar. So I had Walmart brown sugar, so I used that. And then it called for 3/4 cup of regular sugar, and I had Food Lion sugar, and so I used that. So next it called for 2 eggs, and I had plenty of eggs. And then it called for 2 cups of chocolate chips, and it specified Nestle Toll House chocolate chips. I only had Food Lion brand chocolate chips, and so that is what we are using in this recipe. Okay, so they want us to combine the butter and sugars and vanilla all together first, and then they wanted us to add 1 egg at a time and continue to stir until it was really creamy. So then they wanted us to gradually add the flour, so a little bit at a time, and continue to stir until it was all smooth. And the last thing they wanted us to add were chocolate chips. And I had exactly 2 cups of chocolate chips. Now the recipe called for Nestle Toll House. I didn't have those. I only had Food Lion brand, but I used those. I used exactly 2 cups. That's exactly the amount that I had. So I was thinking, hey, it is meant to be for me to make these cookies for Jackson to watch and not get to eat. Okay, so now it says to drop spoonfuls of your cookie mixture onto an ungreased cookie sheet. Well, I never bake without spraying my pan, and so I did spray the pan on my cookie sheet before I decided to bake it. So the recipe said to bake at 375 for 9 to 11 minutes. So the first time I put in 10 minutes. Then I end up having to add 4 more, and then I end up having to add 4 more. And so way longer than what they said. I think it was 18 minutes that I baked these cookies. And I did wait for the oven to preheat. So I don't know if it's just an oven thing. But anyway, so they said 9 to 11 minutes. I ended up baking them for 18 minutes. And they were still soft and chewy and not hard and all that. So, okay, I'm getting ready to try these Toll House cookies. They're good. Crunchy on the bottom, squishy on the inside. It's a good recipe. I would recommend it. So I really didn't want to make an entire batch of cookies. It was about 9 o'clock that night when I was making them. And so I just decided to do 1 batch, which I think was like 8 cookies that I did on my sheet. So instead of just putting them in the refrigerator, the rest of the batter, I decided to try to make it look like those cookies that were rolled up and you just slice them and cook them. So this is what I did for that. And as you can tell, after I left it in the refrigerator a while, it got really hard. And so now all I have to do when I want to bake some cookies is to take that little roll out, slice up a couple, stick them in the oven, and I don't have to make a brand new batch of batter. Alright, so thank you for watching this video. Thank you, Jackson, for giving us some ideas of things to make. And I just want to thank everybody for watching and for liking and subscribing. If you have any ideas of things for us to make or things to do that you would like to see, please leave them in the comments below. And have a great night. That's a wrap.